Confidence. Welcome back to another magical episode. That song you're hearing, you guys can't hear it because it's going to be in post.
I was like, oh, that was a song.
If that's how you base how good my voice is, I'm sorry.
Well, your mom just asked if I sing again. The answer
Do
is
you
no.
sing?
No.
Okay.
Literally, like I can't even hum. Like,
what do you mean you can't even hum?
Like you wouldn't know what it was. Did you just get your eyebrows redone?
I did.
Okay.
For anyone that's watching on youtube.com/Kelsey Darragh, you can see my microblading. You have to go to Browse by Angelina. That's not a plug or an ad. We don't actually have any
Audrey
ads.
L. Glass.
Who's that?
She did mine.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yours are very natural.
They're probably a little faded now. It's been like 7 months.
Oh, yeah. That's what microblading or micro needling.
I have no idea how long it's been.
Well, I have no hair, so this is really good. Because
No, yeah, we got ours done. Microblading, microfeathering is the process where you...
Mine says that all of the different terminology is just bullshit.
What do you call it?
Microblading.
Oh, yeah. So it's like the act of making small, tiny incisions with your eyebrows, and then they put dye in it, and it fills the incision with little like hairs.
That makes it sound like
it is
really,
incisions.
It makes it sound really aggressive, but it's like tattooing.
Yeah.
Like little tiny lines.
Well,
That's an incision.
It's basically a scalpel where they cut.
It's a microblade.
It's
what
a
do you call that?
scalpel.
An incision.
An incision's when you sew something up.
No.
You
got two versus one. We got way off topic.
Okay.
You guys, the song.
That's what happens when you have me on.
Yeah, right? With a song you guys have heard is me and Jared Capslap La DJ Lucas's single. We sang a fucking song. He made me sing on it. That's the one that played. Go listen to it on Spotify. Here's the thing. Only the confidants are going to know this because I'm only going to say it here. Jared manipulated my voice.
I noticed
it down
an octave. Yeah,
an
whatever.
octave, so it sounds like I'm Cher. It sounds like I'm Cher, and I don't like it. But his agent, the first time we sent them a cut of it, his agent was like, "This sounds like Kids Bop."
Could you imagine if you got it back and it was just a completely different voice? And they were like, yes, it's you.
It kind of does sound.
When you inhale helium.
Yeah,
but you went the other direction.
It's not my favorite version of my voice, but he did what he had to do. So go listen to it. Now I can finally introduce our guests of the week. Let's start with Lily Marston.
Hi.
Hi, friend. It's about time you come on here.
I know,
We're
it's
like
been-
30-something episodes in.
Well, and we just like haven't hung out in a while, so this is nice.
The
Two birds, one stone
when we
situation.
hang out, it's via texting and social media and FaceTiming, talking about how much pain we're in. Lily is
yes,
also a chronic pain sufferer. You have a fucked up back.
Yeah, it's always kind of been messed up, but then as of the last I used to be like, oh, it's been like 9 months. I'm like, no, now it's been almost 2 years.
Wow.
It was last September.
That
it got
you've been
really
getting,
bad.
yeah.
And then before that, it was just like every few months, it was
Did
like,
you-
oh, muscle spasm, you can't move for a week.
Yeah.
Did you have an incident that triggered it?
Kind of. There was a car accident, which a month later is when the pain kind of shifted from being muscle pain to
That's
pain.
why
remember
But the
that.
car accident really wasn't very bad, but I've been in several other car accidents, and I guess it's
I'm never
also
getting in a fucking car with you.
Not even that the ones that have caused any damage were not my fault.
Well, still.
But you're young. You're so young to have a back problem because as you get older, it does not
Get better.
Get better.
Haven't I heard that from every doctor?
Yeah.
So
Oh,
besides
you're too
being
young.
a fellow spoonie, Lily, how do, like my mom, for instance, doesn't know the YouTube world. So how do I describe what you are, who you are, what you do, what you do,
Yeah,
and why you
explain
do
it to a mother.
Explain like I'm mom.
That would make it real basic.
I never even know how. It was so much easier when I worked for a company because it was like, oh, I work for a
She
digital
kind of
media
worked
company.
for like a BuzzFeed.
It was like a cheap form.
It was
of
like the
BuzzFeed.
knockoff BuzzFeed, or like the poor Costco BuzzFeed.
Yeah.
Called Clever.
Except Costco goes in bulk. This is like, or we were
Well,
still
you
doing
guys
in
were-
bulk. I just
yeah,
had
you
to
guys
do
were-
it.
You
all.
were editing.
Yeah.
So she was like a personality on a big beauty female channel.
Yeah, I never wanted to be on camera. That was never the plan. And then it was, I was just like producing, and then I kind of accidentally got on camera, and then people started following
How do you
me.
accidentally
she's
get on
famous.
camera?
Because the people that were in the videos were not always cooperating.
Oh, call them out, sis.
No, it was basically just
Jocelyn.
Jocelyn and Megan like didn't know how to read directions. So I'd go in and be like, oh my God, you're doing it wrong. And then I'd
Yeah.
like, but then I would edit them too. And I was all about keeping all the bloopers in. So then I would be in it for like 3 seconds and it would be like, oh, who's that? And it would just like pique people's curiosity.
So she became like an internet girl like me, and now she has her own channel and she does all kinds of videos. So she's like
Beauty
oh,
channel, just
no,
about
I would-
everything.
your life.
Yeah, I just really like, I hate saying filmmaking because that feels really pretentious, but
No,
like
but-
I like making videos in general and
Yeah.
editing. So I think
Her
it's just
style's
like
elevated.
anything that I can do
Elevated lifestyle.
that I can then film and turn into some kind of story.
millennial
Yes.
vlogs.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then, Mom, hi,
Hi.
you're back on the
Hi.
channel. You're back on the podcast.
Yeah.
For the second time. People loved our episode. They thought you were very cool. What do you think about that?
I watched that and I was very demure
You're very good.
compared to what I normally am.
Were you impressed with yourself?
Well, not impressed with myself. I just thought it was very honest conversation, and
People like that.
You
yeah.
forget the camera's on.
Yeah.
Because in just talking like we're talking here. Yeah.
Well, we are talking about a subject today that is a unique subject to be talking about with your mom around, and a friend who also has chronic pain and fun intimacy conversations. Y'all, this episode is all about virginity. Virginity being a construct, something being made up totally by people, how it affects us, what our situation is. We've got fun questions from you guys. We have fun stories from you guys. But before we get to all of that, we must do the segment of what we're feeling confidently insecure about. Now, remember, this is a podcast where we're absolutely sure we don't know everything. So this is a subject that I'm not totally sure how I feel about it. I mean, like last week, I think we talked about the coronavirus. This is, it's hard to even do an update because like what I say this week is going to be totally different from next week. Are you worried about, Mom, are you worried about getting it because you're old?
Well, most of my parts are not that old. Thank you for asking. So,
We traveled last week on a plane and we went to a hospital, all the places you're not supposed to go.
yeah, it's really interesting because being in Florida and in the daily life, because I sell houses, and so the consumer attitude, I was watching hourly what was going on to see if they were going to bring in the housing market and say, okay, now people are pulling back because of the coronavirus because the market went down, which means people's 401ks and their confidence and all that. So now I got away from that to be here to visit you, and it's so refreshing to get off that wheel because once you get away from it, you can get so caught up in the media
turn
of
your
it,
news cycle off.
off.
Just get away from Twitter.
I haven't really been thinking about it much until I go on YouTube and then I'll see like an entire shelf of coronavirus updates. And it's the stuff from China is the scariest because it shows people like literally in white suits dragging people out of buildings.
Well, now that they have the death rate and the infection rate is actually the lowest it's ever been in China now. So they're finding a way to curb it. They're finding a way to quarantine people. And, you know, I think people are freaking the fuck out. And everyone has the right to, especially if you're immunosuppressed, which I know a lot of people, millennials, are because we're born with all sorts of fucked up shit. Thanks, older generation.
But Kelsey, here's the
But-
deal.
but what?
This year they've had 18,000 people die from the flu, the regular flu.
It's much more dangerous.
And you've
But
got,
this is new. People freak out.
That's the
It's
thing is
just a new
also I
flu
think people are
strain.
taking such extra precautions, which I am dying at all the memes where there's like everyone's buying the hand sanitizer, but no one's buying soap.
Someone, my friend sold,
know?
my friend sold, was it wipes or something? She made $3,000 selling wipes on eBay the other night.
I went to buy. I was like, maybe I should.
What?
I was gonna say I went to buy emergency water.
What?
No, I went to buy water bottles online.
Oh.
Just people are gonna get mad at me.
Ooh, sis.
But
Yeah, what do you do in that situation, though?
But not because I was like hoarding up for the apocalypse. I was like trying to buy them because they're heavy and I can't carry them usually. So I'll just like, and I didn't need a ton of groceries. I just need
water.
went to order water.
Gone.
First of all, the main thing was sold out, the like appropriately priced water.
Yeah.
Then the same water is available for like $40 for like
A case?
5 of them.
Yeah.
And I'm
Oh.
like,
Oh my
not
God.
5.
Water
That's a weird.
comes
They
out
were
the
6,
faucet.
but
What the hell?
But I think it's like people might think the water's infected. Because that's how you freak people out is you fuck up their water supply.
Well, and I know South by Southwest got canceled.
So that I was going to say
Yeah.
the whole reason why my mom is here, y'all, is because she was supposed to be going to. Oh, there's Kat. She was supposed to be going to a conference in Vegas, which is only a quick 40-minute plane ride from LA. And instead of canceling your whole conference, you just say, "Hey, I'm going to pop into LA instead."
Well, yeah, it was real interesting because it's an annual conference of realtors that global people
and
come
you
from all
shake
over.
hands and you talk all day.
Yes,
and
yes.
you're
Well, and it was also
old people
at a major hotel in Las Vegas.
The
and
Wynn. I don't give a shit. The Wynn. The guy who
Okay, I didn't know
invented
if we
the
could say
Wynn
that.
is
I
trash.
was also just in Vegas and like literally didn't even cross my mind.
But think about it. Everyone's touching slot machines. Everyone's touching money. Everyone's touching chips.
I'm now thinking. I'm sorry.
Are you feeling okay?
Are you feeling okay?
I actually weirdly have I don't get sick. Knock on wood.
Yeah. Well, you have chronic pain, so your body's functioning at a different level than most people.
So the bottom line is just don't watch too much TV
And
or
wash your
YouTube,
hands.
And yeah.
Well, and then obviously the media makes it much more like terror inducing.
We need
Yeah.
a good scandal to supersede the coronavirus.
We don't need
if they
any
had
more
some kind of
scandals.
news,
Oh,
if they
no,
need some
that's-
kind of
no,
news.
we
That's something
just-
else.
no.
That's
Super
Megan's
Tuesday.
hacking scandal has just taken
Oh my
over
God,
my brain.
Lily's
I can't
been
think
working
about
on
anything
that.
else.
But last week it was Super Tuesday and the coronavirus, and it was the same day. And I was like, we just have to fucking walk away because both of these on the same day was too much. And then when did Megan's YouTube scandal come out? For everyone that doesn't know,
Like,
Megan Ranks is your
what's today?
BFF, and she got hacked, and YouTube isn't helping her.
her
and
YouTube
Lily's
channel
been-
got hacked like months ago and was
Yeah.
rebranded by it's Beauty Dior now, and they're just casually uploading these weird videos on it. YouTube's not doing anything. It's been months.
Yeah.
And even since like Shane Dawson has said something, Gigi Hadid has put her in contact with her personal YouTube person.
Philly
Literally,
DeFranco.
Phil DeFranco has done a story on it. Still, Beauty
YouTube.
Dior still has all the videos.
Crickets.
They still have not. They're talking to her, but like, why haven't they
haven't
shut
they-
this channel down? Like, what are
we
you
don't
doing?
know. It's a big old scandal. And Lily, you did
So-
a really cool video where you did kind of like a Shane Dawson docu-style, investigative, true
Which
crime.
I will say right now that everyone keeps saying, "Ooh, the Shane Dawson." I'm like, I love Shane to death, but it's just like a docu-style.
No, I know, but like
yeah.
that's hot right now.
I get-
and so
yeah.
you're editing these very long videos.
So yeah, we did a 45-minute part one.
Oh my God.
And then
I can't believe I watched
and
all
she
of that.
talks really
Oh, I was
fast,
getting
so
my
it's a
hair done.
lot of information.
Yeah.
And then we just filmed part 2.
this weekend.
Yeah, it was like not yesterday.
You don't even
2
know
days
what day
ago.
it is.
I don't.
That's how
I
Adderall
literally
out
am
you've been.
So out of it. And it's like still like almost an hour. I'm like halfway through.
When is it coming out for our viewers? Because I watched the first part 1 and it was very fucking interesting. Just because, like, if you watch YouTube at all, if you're interested in that world, if you're like, ooh, what's it like to be a YouTuber? Getting behind the scenes at something like this, especially that's like a problem happening to a lot of people, is crazy.
What I told her is like, I mean, sucks for her, obviously. Like,
Yeah.
It's not like we're all laughing about it because of the way she tells it. But like, at the end of the day, sucks for her. But for everyone else, like, the story is more entertaining.
Oh yeah.
Now that she
this
hasn't
is
gotten
great
it
for her
back.
channel.
So
Isn't she
literally-
getting like more views than usual?
Yeah.
There you
How does
go.
somebody get out of hacking it? I mean, do they? What they get from doing it? Is
She
it-
already had a 500,000 subscribers on this channel that they stole. She has a big channel with 2 million.
But it's not like they're getting.
Are they asking you to send money or something?
No.
Or what would they get out
They
of
bought
doing
it
that?
for $500.
They bought it. Someone hacked it and then sold it on a black market.
Literally, we found this whole website that has like people's Tumblrs listed and their Pinterest, and it's like, I have the original email, blah blah.
But are these Americans or Russians?
They seemed American on the
'Cause
thing I
some-
was looking at, but there was a whole like November 2019 thing with Russian hackers.
That's what I was saying because I was asking someone what's the deal with Russia? Why do they keep hacking us? Why don't we have good enough hackers? And everyone's like, we have the best hacker NSA tech people in the world. I'm like, then why are they doing it to our own people? Why are they doing it to Megan?
Also, to give you a preview, most of the video is her recapping. They had a phone call finally, even
Yeah.
though they told her they don't do phone support. Finally, get on a phone call and they tell her all of this stuff, and they keep now referring to this situation as like a really complicated hacking thing after they had told her for months that there was no activity of hacking on her channel, which was blatantly
So now they
obvious.
just have to like
Complicated.
No, and they kept being like, it's
Yeah.
super complicated because they changed the passwords and the emails and they deleted things. And she's like, what do normal hackers do?
Yeah.
You used to have, like, what's a not complicated hack?
like
Are you-
changing an email and a password shouldn't be that fucking
all
crazy.
of the stuff they list is
And
just
you're
like
YouTube.
standard things that are like,
You're
well, yeah,
YouTube.
what else are they going to do? Just like
you're YouTube,
hack it and just sit there?
That's what I'm saying.
Just
If
watch
you're-
her upload?
If you're fucking YouTube and you don't have a fucking hold on that shit.
If you're fucking Google.
Yeah,
Like,
Google owns you
and then
too.
it goes into this whole their data retention, and it's a lot of tea.
So that's coming out this week, and
interesting.
Lily's been working on that. But so all of that aside, what I was gonna say, feeling confidently insecure about this week. Well, first of all, these stickers. I'm feeling confidently insecure because I made merch. I made stickers for us, confidants. They're so cute. They say confidant. These are the old ones. Those are the new ones. But here's the thing. I don't know how to sell them now that I've had them made. How do you sell things? I have a website. I work with DFTBA, but they make the merch.
You are asking the wrong person.
You never had merch?
No.
Oh. If anyone knows how I can sell these now, because I've just been sending them to people for free. I just put my stamps on them.
Maybe nobody wants to buy them.
Oh, no, people
I heard there's actually supposedly a very big market for stickers.
Yeah,
out there.
people want
they're
them. Look, I put
giveaway.
it on my on my computer. It's very cute. I love it. Anyway, I got confidant stickers.
I sell pictures on Etsy, but that's the extent of my.
Wait, you sold pictures on Etsy?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Oh, your photography.
Yeah.
Lily's
I mean,
a really good
when I say
photographer.
I sell, I mean like I think for a month a few people bought them, and then I like kind of did an update, and now I get like
You
Etsy
have
is sending $1.28 your way.
You have a photography Insta though, right?
Yes, but it is very outdated.
What is it?
I'm like, what is it? The Lil's lens.
Ooh, good one. So what I've been feeling confidently insecure about, besides the stickers, is have y'all ever heard of dermaplaning?
Shaving your
Yes.
face.
Shaving your
I've done it.
face.
I've done.
It's
I've
not
done like everything.
shaving though. It's different than shaving.
like-
Shaving will make your hair grow back like whiskery when you shave. But dermaplaning,
It's like taking off a layer of your skin,
yeah,
too.
it takes off. It's at a different derma level than shaving. Shaving gets the hair right here, and then when it grows back heavy and thick. Dermaplaning does not do that same thing, although it's taking your peach fuzz off. But I've been doing that for 10 years at least.
That's
Your
what
skin looks great.
Jocelyn always says that she thinks that that's why guys age better.
Because they've been shaving.
That it's like exfoliating
That's
their
not a
face
bad
more and
idea.
doing stuff. But
have you done it?
Not. I haven't gotten it done professionally, but there's the Dermaflash, which
What
is
the
like
fuck is that?
an expensive like face razor, I guess. But it does it at. Sorry, I'm not used to holding a microphone. That you have to like really like do it in like a specific motion for it to work.
you're
It's gotta be
stepping on
done-
it,
It's
that's
gotta
why.
be done. It's got to be
I've
done
been
right.
trying to figure out
What?
when you lean forward. I was like, "Is your hair pink?"
Oh,
'cause
it's the
light.
neon sign. Yeah, I have a neon
Tripping me
butt
out.
behind me in
Sorry.
case no one's ever seen that. So I saw one video about dermaplaning on YouTube, and I immediately went to Amazon and bought these razors.
I was gonna say I'm looking at your face and there's not a hair on
There's
it.
not
so
a
I'm
single hair on
sensing
it. But I also all of a sudden got really chapped lips because I did it around my mouth
be
for my
careful.
mustache. But now I have like the most chapped fucking lips. And being in Pennsylvania last week, the wind was crazy cold, and all of a sudden I got.
And if you get too close, you could create an incident where a cold sore will come out because it's like trauma. Because you know how your lips are sensitive to getting
Oh
cold
my
sores.
God.
You do not when you do dermaplaning. You got to be careful around your lip
I've
line.
never had a cold sore before.
Okay, you
On your
say that,
lip?
but
On my lip.
oh my god! So I
yeah.
thought the same, but recently I had these really bad cystic zits, and I popped them like
Oh
once.
No.
It was a cold
It
sore.
was a cold sore.
And then I like popped it again later because I have like really bad
Lily.
hormonal acne that will flare up
gonna
when my back gets out of place.
spread.
But then it's like there's like 3 spots and they just won't go away. And then I like noticed that it's like they won't stop popping. Like there's stuff that just this is so disgusting.
No,
TMI.
but it's like a blistery cluster.
Yeah,
safe
well,
space.
and then I'm like Googling like zits that won't stop popping. And next to it said like related. And it showed like the diagram of what a cold sore looks like from like on the inside. It's a bunch of little. And I was like, and then I started putting Blistex on it. It was gone in 2 days.
Yeah, everybody's got the
And I was like,
virus pretty much, and you
And
get
then I was
triggered.
Googling it. It's like herpes. And I'm like, wait, what?
Nobody wants to call it herpes.
I
They
know,
wanna
but
call
it's
it
like the
cold
different
sore.
kind of herpes.
I did an entire episode on herpes that you guys should listen to because it's really not that big of a fucking deal. And I'm like 99.9% sure I have it, but I'm a carrier where it doesn't like flourish, you know?
Oh, that's nice to know.
Because well, everyone has
a carrier.
the chances are if you've never had a cold sore, you probably are a carrier. Or it just hasn't come
It
out.
just hasn't come
Whatever.
out,
You
yeah.
should listen to that podcast about it.
But
okay.
it said they're also just like fever blisters from like
Yeah.
stress and stuff. That,
So what
and
did you
I even
do?
got it like in my nose.
Your nose? Yeah,
And it was like they wouldn't go away. It was for weeks.
I had what's it called when you get in a hospital? Not SARS.
Oh, you haven't had SARS.
It's, oh my God, what's it called? It's like, I thought at first it was my first cold sore, but it came at like the base of my nose. And it was, oh my God, what is it called? It's like that bad infection. MRSA?
A staph infection?
Staph. I had a
Not
staph
SARS.
infection.
From
Not
picking your nose too much.
No, it was after skiing once, and it got all cracked, and then I think I got an infection.
And I literally, at a certain point, it was like, there's like a chunk of skin I was ripping off, and Megan was like, "You're gonna get a staph infection." I was like,
well, I got one, and it took over my face, and it was fucking bad. It hurt like a bitch.
Wow.
Anyway, speaking of talking about herpes with your mom around, let's talk about virginity and sex. Mom, we have a very open relationship when it comes to talking about these kinds of things. Why?
Well, because it is always how we've been.
Why?
Because
I think some of our listeners would rather die than talk about your pussy getting inflamed after having too much sex.
We've always okay. So I think as parents, you have your own personality, and if you were a conservative person as a child and a teen and a young adult, as a parent, parent, you're going to be conservative. And I was never that. I was always
you were a hoe.
No, I was always tell it like it is kind of person. Just
it's like imagining her growing up and then being like,
"Oh, we don't talk about."
But here's the thing: I was gonna say the first time I had sex, I didn't tell you, and then I was having it for a little while. And
how old are you?
I lost my. I hate saying this. We're gonna talk about why I lost my virginity. It's such a fucked up, stupid way of saying things. The first time I had sex,
age
was a week before my 16th birthday.
Oh, okay.
It's a little late, right?
I was the last. I thought you were
one.
going to say like 12.
No, I was literally the last one of my friend group to lose my. Oh my God! See, I'm saying
12,
it again.
though, like that's like so. I feel like
It's not that young.
Like I didn't even have my first kiss till I was 16.
So you were a late bloomer.
Yeah.
Well, so
But it was also
but
because I didn't start
according-
drinking until I was 16.
But
Yeah.
according to whose standards? Because
Well, I'm glad
exactly, like because none of my friends
that
like
could be considered not a late bloomer.
I'm glad you asked because the average age in America is 16. Average, just for if we're splitting genders between male and female, which we know we don't. But science says that some say boys, I hate saying that, but boys are the age of 16.9 and girls are a little bit later at 17.4. So you're actually not that off.
the
And
sexual drive in boys.
I was
though,
technically a little early according to society, but I didn't tell you, and I asked you to take me to the gyno because I said I wanted to get something else checked out. I was like, oh, I'm having a couple issues down there. And then you took me there, and then you tried to come into the room with me, and I was like, no, don't come in. And the doctor was like, let me just doctor alone.
That's
and so,
Sarah, right?
Yeah.
We went to Sarah, yeah.
And I was like, I'm having sex and I need birth control. And you're like, and she was like, okay, I'm gonna tell your mom that you had razor burn and you thought it was something else and you wanted me to look at it without her in here. And so then she sneaked me a prescription for birth control before you knew.
is that
but
legal?
see,
Yeah.
yeah. Back in my day, we couldn't get birth control pills unless you were married.
Oh
Can
my
you believe
God.
it?
That's
You
absurd.
could not get birth control pills unless you were married.
How the fuck do they tell
So
if
this
you're
you
married?
Bring in your
Is
husband or your
wedding
marriage
ring?
certificate. Yeah. What is the
No,
proof
I'd have to wear
required?
like a fake ring, and
I'd get a hobo off the
that
street.
would-
And like that was enough though.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be like
But
one
remember,
birth
guys,
control.
there's no internet, there's no communication standards, and there's no cell phones. There's the rotary phone on the wall at home, and think about it. These were very different times. So,
But why did I lie to you about
you
having
didn't
sex?
have to. I don't know why you did,
But
because
we
I
were so
probably
open.
Knew
Because, okay, I'm going to tell you why. And here's where the conversation starts. I was so ashamed of sex because at that age, I was really splitting off from the church. I even did a little camp that was like a week-long thing where the church makes you get a purity ring. And
I
makes,
remember when you did that.
Yeah, and they make you
The fact
fucking
that you
do
couldn't
this
even- that
shit.
splitting off from the church.
They make you go to these fucking classes, and then at the end of the week, they make all the kids stand up at the front of the church with 1,200 people, and they make your parents come up and put a fucking ring on you. That's your purity ring. That is satanic cult-like shit.
did not know anyone that even really religious friends that have done that.
Why did I do that? Why was that a thing that was allowed?
I don't think I know anyone that would purity
It's
ring.
just the different times that you're living in and the region of the country live in. And, there's a whole bunch of things that marry that.
I was 14 when I knocked on my friend's window at school and the diamond popped out of the ring. And I thought at that moment.
On the window to go have sex.
I was going, well, this is it.
Like,
I
well,
guess
it's a
this is
sign.
over. But I thought that was so fucking crazy. Anyways, I wanted to read this. Historically, virginity was tied predominantly to women. And we will talk a little bit about male virgin, blah, 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 blah. Through biblical texts and societal perpetuation, the virgin was defined as a woman who had yet to have sex, as proven by her unbroken hymen. Women's virginities were seen as a necessity in marriage because when women who weren't pure were considered damaged goods, marrying a woman who was a virgin would ensure that any future offspring were truly yours, an important point in a time that placed such a heavy emphasis on inheritance.
So I guess that does make sense
For the time.
for principle at the time.
So if you were like a king and you didn't want to, I'm making quotes, dirty woman, because then you wouldn't be able to tell if your son was really your son, even though hypothetically a virgin could fuck whoever she wants and have whoever she wants. There was no way to tell who your kid was.
and also, like, are they checking everyone's hymen? Like,
Back
which
then,
I
they
know
used to.
really.
Oh,
Yep,
yes. That's
so there
why
was-
Because I know that you can break it otherwise.
on the wedding
Anyway,
night,
but
you'd have a group of people around the bed, and they would check the sheets whenever you're done.
that's some
that
Handmaid's
was like
Tale
the,
shit.
the royal family. That's where it really mattered about the heritage,
Genealogy
and the
and, yeah.
genealogy.
So
yeah.
of
they-
course, and we're talking about all of this knowing that gender is also a construct. So me using male, female, woman, man, vagina, penis, like we all know that this is a bit of archaic language. So just to like, if we make any mistakes saying the incorrect thing, just give us a little leeway as we read and discuss. But it's a socially constructed phenomenon that functions to police our bodies and make us feel guilty. Remember? Guilty. I said I felt guilty and shameful about our sexual experience, whether profuse or non-existent, and it continuously puts power in the hands of heterosexual men, subjugates and takes power away from heterosexual women, and denies the existence of non-het-sexual bodies. So it really is that's why I'm so angry at myself for saying I'm the night I lost my virginity, because it sounds like something was taken from me and it sounds so invasive.
you lost. It.
Yeah, and it's such an emphasis.
It is interesting to think of that's like one of the few experiences that you refer to it as so distinctly two different ways.
Yes.
Is that it is your first time, but it's also the time you lost your
And
virginity.
someone took it. They'll
Yeah.
say, I took her virginity. And it's usually
when even like if
people
you
with
talk about your first
penises.
kiss, it's not like,
Yeah.
oh, I lost my first kiss to this
Right.
person. Like, no,
And
it's
then-
just the first for
So
everything
going
else.
back to the physicality of it, where it started as something as you were breaking the hymen, what you found out later is that some women's hymens, or excuse me, some people with vaginas, hymens don't even bleed, and you can break your hymen
Yeah.
through so many other fucking things.
Like bike
Masturbating
riding.
too hard,
Yeah.
bike riding,
Or
using
that.
a tampon,
Yeah.
your own fingers. Fucking, there's so many other ways. And there was a big controversy recently where T.I., the rapper, said that he gets his almost adult daughter's hymen checked every year at the gyno. He goes with her
I haven't
to
s-
make sure she's still a fucking
I haven't seen
virgin.
that clip.
And-
Is he totally serious?
Why does
Totally
it-
fucking serious. And it
matter?
started a huge
I
debate.
remember when it was all being talked about, but I didn't know if
It
maybe
started-
he was not that that's a funny joke anyway, but like
No.
Don't you
really?
think that's a little
Like,
weird?
Does he actually do that, or is he lying and just like thinks that sounds
he
like
was saying, I absolutely go to her gyno
that's like
appointments.
literally admitting though that you're stupid and don't
To
understand
me,
how
it feels like
the body works.
assaultive. Like it feels. I don't know if that's
Well,
a word.
How old's
yeah, no,
the
but like
daughter?
completely
I
even
think she
before
was 18, 17.
No.
Yeah. How
Like,
old is T.I.'s daughter?
the
Let me
concept
Google
of that happening anyway is absurd. But like the fact that we just talked about, you can break it so many other ways that you're
Well,
literally that's pointless, and
that's
it's just like
exactly
invoking
what people
fear
were saying.
For
She's 18.
she not only is
Oh
not
my
having sex, she's not leaving the house or riding bikes or horses or anything that would
Anything.
even
I
go
think
remotely.
there's a lot of other
She's
issues.
like, get away from me at all.
Well,
times."
imagine how she must feel as a fucking adult if she's 18 years old and your dad is coming to. Do you know what that woman's going to do the second she gets freedom away from you?
That's why I'm even asking if it's true or if he just like made that up.
No.
That is so
He
weird.
absolutely
Is he
said.
a single parent?
No, he has a fucking TV show that's like Keeping Up with the Kardashian with his wife and his, I don't know, 6 or 7 kids.
Like I keep wanting to just think he did it for attention because it's so
That's so
absurd.
He
weird.
did it, Lily. Get over it.
Like, I'm not defending T.I. I couldn't
No
care
one-
less.
no one is.
I literally am just like, how could you possibly think that that was one, going to be an effective way to monitor your daughter's virginity, and 2, really?
Like I think the
fuck off.
to the opposite of that is like we need to teach women how to be in control of their own bodies, and by you fucking manufacturing in her head this idea of cleanliness versus dirtiness versus girl versus woman is so fucking toxic, so fucking dangerous. Instead, we need to balance out this idea of power in sex between people with penises and people with vaginas and people that don't use either for sex, and the idea of what sex is, which we all know is such an archaic definition to say penis into vagina. That is not what sex is. Sex is an experience between people. It can be whatever you want it to be, which brought up my other point of with men with penis and women with vagina, if that's what we're talking about, this heteronormativity presents a problem. Do we consider non-hetero individual virgins for life if they never have sex in a traditional penis to vagina way? Do non-heterosexuals count at all? What about anal sex? Even between a hetero couple, does that count as losing virginity too? The answer, of course, is yes.
What's the definition of sex?
I was literally just going to ask the same because I think I feel like, is it something
manner?
about penetration?
That's what I was going to say.
Exactly.
Google it and see if just for the masses, if you were to just look it up, what is the definition? Because
What
that may help with some of the
and
attitudes.
of sex, and sex is short for sexual intercourse,
Right.
So like if you're looking
rather
it
than
up,
like having sexual activity.
It is
would be a little
defined
more vague.
as
Having-
sexual activity, including specifically sexual intercourse, either of the 2 main categories, male and female, into which humans and most other living things are divided based on the reproductive functions.
sexual intercourse. Though.
Sexual intercourse is defined as involving penetration, especially
So, but then you can just even
the
ignore
insertion of a man's erect penis. Well, sometimes it's not.
This is funny
a
too.
woman's vagina. Typically culminating in orgasm and ejaculation of semen, which is
okay, so
never how it
It's a
happens.
very, very carefully worded definition. There.
Okay, let's
I was
break
gonna
this
say,
down.
now, then
As
that
an
answers
old
your
woman who's
question.
had a lot of sex,
Oops, sorry.
how many on average? What would you say? What is happening?
I
Oh,
knocked over.
don't worry about it.
I
What
got all
is?
excited.
Yeah. What the fuck? What is the average of this statement being true? That a man's erect penis goes into a woman's vagina, typically culminating into orgasm and ejaculation.
Okay, so you just asked a question, how can people be thinking this way about sex and so on and so forth? That's why I said, well, Google it, and then there's your answer of why people think of it that way. That is the societal definition
Except
of
they're trying
sex.
to change it because it says sexual contact between individuals
know,
involving
but-
penetration.
but
it
you
doesn't
just-
say penetration of what? Dildo, finger,
Yeah, no.
in
so I
your
think
ass,
that's
in your mouth.
Now you could focus on just that it says penetration.
But that's
Penetration.
your answer right there. And so
But
that-
penetration can be with
fingering
anything.
stuff.
That's why
too,
you
yeah,
asked
so
me why people think of it like they do, and I'm telling you, just go look at the definition because that's why people think of it like
because
they
I think
do.
when people think sex, they think intercourse, which means
Yes.
like. I don't think that's why it's
I
called
think
intercourse.
intercourse can be
like, meaning,
like enter,
yeah.
intercourse definition.
But I think that
Oxford.
otherwise you would refer to it as just like sexual activity
But
that has
listen to
kind of a vague blanket statement.
The Oxford definition of intercourse is the physical activity of sex between 2 people.
But then
Now
if
you
you
go back
back
and
to
look at the
sex,
definition.
yeah.
Exactly. So that is my point being the idea of losing something or it being taken from you or that there's like some weird fucking Ziploc seal in your pussy that gets broken open and then you're a woman. Woo,
You
celebrate.
have to unlock the chastity belt.
Exactly. Like fucking, I'll tell you my story of the first time I had sex. It was with a guy that I didn't even like, but he was on the football team and he was really popular. And all of my friends had lost their virginity and they would all give me shit. So much so to the point where I lied that I had gone off to summer camp and done it with someone and none of them believed me. And then I was like,
It was
well,
a little cliche. Of a
yeah.
lie.
I was like, no, we totally did it. He grabbed my boobs. It was crazy. And
You didn't even have boobs.
No, I still don't have boobs. They gave me
his
so
erect
much
penis
shit.
in my vagina, and I
Typically I came. They caught me. They gave me so much shit that I was like, I have to lose this because I'm the last one.
Peer
So,
pressure.
Totally. A week before my 16th birthday, we drove in his pickup truck to a parking lot at an apartment complex, and we
Sounds
boned.
like an R-rated Taylor Swift song.
It's like typical Southern Friday night in
Were
high
you
school.
sober?
No. And then I did it and it fucking hurt. And that was the other thing, is that we talk about bleeding the first time you lose your virginity. So many people don't bleed. Or if you do, it's not typically because of a hymen break-in, but because of the lack of lubrication. So the first time I did it, I am pretty sure I had broke my hymen long before.
Do you know, it makes me wonder that first time that you have sex, there's so much negative associated with it, with pain and the trauma of it and so on. It's like, why do you do it a second time? For how long do you wait?
You're told that it's
to
this
do
great
it a
thing.
second time, because I'm going to tell you, the first time, I don't know
sucks.
anybody
It's like
ever that
scarring.
says, "Oh boy, that was great." No, it's not. The first time's not.
I
That's
don't know.
why you hear so many
Well-
people being like, I got it over with.
Yeah, so many people just wanted to get it over with because one, lube has everything to do with it. I will tell you, I'm going to say it over and over again. The more lube, the better first time it's going to be, because no matter where you're putting it, in a butt, in someone's butt, in your mouth, and so whatever you're going to do with it, fingers, lube, motherfucking lube, because you're nervous and you're tightening up, you're clenching up, it's hard to relax. Foreplay, motherfucking foreplay.
Well, and that's we've talked about this before, that I think it's very important. Just like, I don't think people, as you said, no one's like, oh my God, I had this fairy tale first time. That was perfect.
Nobody.
But and to not be like, it needs to be with someone I'm so in love with.
No,
It's going to
so
be the
many
one time.
people.
It's going to be great. But that just to be comfortable enough with the person that it can be
You can
awkward, and that you
communicate.
don't feel
Yes.
mortified about how awkward it is.
We talked about that because we talked about like doing it either just to get it over with whoever you can, or do you need to be in love? And you're so hitting the nail on the head, Lily, where it's, you need to be vocal. So even if you're not comfortable with the person, like if it is just a random stranger and you're trying to get it over with, more power to you, whatever you got to do. But you need to be comfortable enough with yourself to say what you are comfortable with. So your bounds, your limits, your boundaries, I need this, and when you don't fucking know, how are you supposed to communicate that?
Here's what I've often thought of, is that people that wait to have sex after they're married, they wait and save it for the one that they're going to be married to. What if you do that and it turns out they're
sucks.
terrible?
It's funny because my mom doesn't ever talk about sex. It's not like
No.
an off limits conversation. It just like doesn't
You
come
guys just
up.
don't
Like
talk
we
about it?
could, I guess. It
Yeah.
just is like
How old is your mom?
72.
Oh, yeah.
So she's a little more
So
conservative.
your mom's 72?
You wouldn't think so, though.
No, but I'm just saying, because you're so young, she must have. Were
Had
you
a
Yeah,
baby.
no,
like
she was
an
43
accident?
when she had me, and she was 40 when she had my sister.
Wow.
No
Oh,
fertility.
that is.
Wow.
I know.
Oh, wow.
That's why I always am like,
Okay,
guys,
so
I
at
don't know.
72, nature has a way, and not that you have to accept that, but nature has a way of, your hormones naturally will dissipate, and the drive to have sex naturally
it's
subsides.
menopause.
Yeah.
Well, subsides for men and for women, and now, of course, with all of the supplements that you can have to stimulate those hormones.
Well, I
But that's
will
what
say,
sounds
though,
like she is not on hormone therapy.
that
or
it's funny
anything.
though that she never will talk about it, and we never have like growing up or anything, but that she's always like casually thrown into conversations like, we have to test drive the car before you buy it.
Exactly.
Like
my
very
mom
casually.
always said, milk the cow.
No.
Drink the milk before you buy the cow.
No. Yeah.
That's what you've always said to me.
Say that again.
Drink the milk before you buy the cow.
I thought you said before you drive the cow.
So swallow before you
I never heard
fuck
that
a
one
cow.
before.
No, but
I
even
think
like
that's-
truly, even to put it in like very like
Layman's terms.
like if you were buying something like, oh well, it's really expensive. That brand looks really good, and
It's gonna be great.
The marketing was great, but then it's like, how many, and not to reference movies because they're not true, but like how many movies do you see where it's like they finally hook up with the hot football player and it's
And
like
it's
the
not.
worst experience of their life because
Yeah.
like
And
everyone
listen,
just put them on a
I'm gonna tell you
pedestal.
something. As someone who has fucked a lot of people, all kinds, all over the world, the best, most attractive people and the ugliest people I've ever slept with, everyone has some off days in sexual dysfunction. No one is performing at 100% all the fucking time.
And I think
me neither.
It has so much to do with the connection between the people, because I think it could be terrible between two. Like there could be two really hot people and it just like doesn't work out because they're just not on the same wavelength. And then there could be two people that just like, I'm kind of attracted to you, but then you just had some kind of weird connection.
It's a mutual understanding of like, we're here to do this. And I think like, especially when you're younger, how much pressure there is to grow up so fast. And it makes me wonder, people that do wait until they're older, if because they know themselves so much better, if it is a better experience.
Well, sexual drive is very tremendously too there. I mean, that's a natural thing because it has to do with hormones. So your natural desire is not the same with everybody. I mean,
and
you know,
asexual people exist.
Well, and I've talked about with a couple friends that they feel the same way, because I've had, you know, when you're making out with some people, it's like could be an hour goes by, feels like a minute.
Yeah.
Then there's other people where it's like 10 seconds. You're like, oh my God, when's this gonna be over?
this is
This is
not
so
gonna
bad.
be good.
And it doesn't matter if they're attractive or not. It's just like something. And my question is always like, what is the difference? Like, you're not doing anything different. What's the difference? That I very much am someone that like, I could think someone is an attractive person, but that doesn't mean that I want to go hook up with them.
No,
Like,
and because
I definitely
there's
am
that
like,
stigma that the hottest people are the laziest in bed.
well, I don't know
I
about
think
that.
more that
they don't have to
the,
do anything.
sapiosexual, though, where you
Sure.
have to have some kind of emotional connection to then
That's
want the physical.
demisexual. Demisexual.
There's so many things now.
And then there's asexual, where you really don't have
the
any
sapio is when
desire.
you're like attracted to the
And
mind
that's the
or
thing. If
something.
you
Yeah,
don't,
that's
if you
not
don't
it.
use it, you lose it. Thing too, or if you get,
I don't think that's true.
No.
If
I
you don't
think
use it, you lose it.
well,
I don't
I
think that's
was
true. You
gonna
can discover sex at any time. Think about all the women that, people with vaginas wait to have an orgasm, a real orgasm. And that's another point, is like, I lost my virginity the week before. Oh, fuck, I said it again. I had sex for the first time a week before I turned 16, and I fucking did not have an orgasm until I had a serious boyfriend with that connection. When I'd masturbate, coming all the time. Hey, party, come over here. Orgasm over there. I could literally think myself into an orgasm when I was like 14. But I was not having an orgasm with a person. So why does it even matter? That's my point. Is like, we need to be having sex for pleasure. We need to be having sex for us first.
And I find it ironic to go back to the definition of sex, where it's like penis in vagina typically results in, well, most of my friends
don't do it. Have sex
literally,
that way.
most people that I know say that is not how they come, and that they require something else.
Most people with vaginas
Do not
have
come from
not penetrative orgasms. It's more clitoral, and that's a scientific fact.
Well, I think that's.
I mean,
true.
because it doesn't. You wouldn't.
Yeah,
need
which
to
is
go
why
that
having sex with women
far.
is so much better, because it's like two pussies. Sorry, I should have said two people with vagina having sex with each other. I'm sorry, guys. I'm fucking up a lot with this episode.
You should
But
have
two people
heard
with
the
sex,
conversation
'cause
we
it's
had
two
when
clits.
she came to my apartment and spent the entire like half hour being like, "You've never made out with a girl?
Oh, 'cause
you went to ASU and
I
you've
keep
never
trying
made
to
out with a
tell
girl? You have a
Lily,
bi bob.
You have a bi bob. Like, are you sure? You don't know until you try. That's
What's
why
a
I
bi
thought
bob?
a bisexual bob. It's like a stereotypical.
I didn't know either. I had to Google it.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to go into reading some stories I put out on our @ConfidentlyPod Instagram that we were talking about virginity today. And if you guys had any stories you wanted to share, whether it be funny, weird, awkward, and just wanted to make this a little bit more relatable, a little bit more, we've all been there situations.
That why you titled is this segment called Cherry Poppin'?
No, that was actually, I'm glad you brought this up. Cherry popping, right? That's the idea that the hymen breaks. But scientifically, the hymen isn't supposed to cover the whole canal of a vagina. And if it does, it's actually called an imperforated hymen.
Okay, we're getting too
So again,
anatomical.
bleeding is more likely to happen from lack of lubrication and not popping a cherry the first time you have sex, just so you all fucking know. Your hymen isn't supposed to be like this plastic sheath over your fucking puss.
Who knew?
Okay. So here's a fun story. Haha, so I lost my virginity on a nasty black leather couch in a garage in Delaware. It was with a guy.
This is a very visual description.
It was with a guy who played tuba.
Still a visual description.
It was a friend of a friend of a friend, and he was railing me from behind, and my head went through the drywall. So my head went through his drywall, and his head went through my wall. Crazy times. Never talked to him or saw him again. Great introduction into sex, to be honest. That's funny. Your head went through drywall?
Oh,
That
well, you know,
sounds
did you?
painful in multiple ways.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't want the word railing associated with.
Sometimes you just need a good railing, right?
Well, that's what made me think of the shows that you watched back in the what do I want to think of?
The early days, how sex was so passionate and slow.
Well, no, they would always come up from behind because it was only
Oh.
there. Think about it. During, back when there were kings and queens and I'm trying to think of how you would describe those times.
Like Game of Thrones?
Yeah, Game of
Medieval,
Thrones. Like
Renaissance.
I'm like,
yeah, it was
Regal?
just something that they did to procreate and also just to, for
Power.
the guys to get
Inseminate.
yeah, and then they would just like move on, put the dress down, and everybody just move on. And it was always from behind. It was never that face to
To like
face
not have the
passion. Just read
It's
about
sad.
it was just like
Well, it is a dominant. Sometimes you
makes
just
me
want to be
think of
dominated.
Handmaid's
yeah.
Tale again.
Yeah. Okay, here's another one. I was raised by 2 moms in a house of only women. I didn't even know the male anatomy in person, ever. I had seen books, but was not interested much in anatomical models. It took 20 minutes just to inspect this strange thing.
But like, do most people like open up the books and like, ooh?
Yeah,
look at
fuck
that
yeah.
one.
I was Googling shit left and right.
You were a very sexual child.
Yes, you're right. It took me 20 minutes just to inspect this strange thing when losing my virginity. I was in college, much too old to be shocked that balls were not separated like in every dick pic drawn on whiteboards or on desks in middle school. Turns out my sister had the same shocking discovery her first time. Who knew? That the balls were connected to the dick.
Also, though, like, I took 20 minutes just to inspect this strange. Like, I'm just picturing someone being like,
Oh, I do that all the
wait,
time.
don't move.
To every dick I've ever seen, I'm always like, afterwards, I'm like, let me just play around with this floppy little thing. They're fun. They're
let me just take a look here.
Because they're all different. I mean, they're all the same and ugly, but they have differences. The idea of not knowing that the balls and dick were the same attached.
I thought they had anatomy in school.
No, in
Don't they
public
do-
school, it's trash.
It's very.
Don't they have
They teach
sex
abstinence.
education?
They
It's definitely
teach
definitely
abstinence.
never see real pictures.
Yeah,
Oh, they
it's-
don't.
No.
No.
You see like weird.
Okay, so
cartoon
what is
diagrams.
sex education in school then?
I'm
Literally
telling you.
showing,
They just tell you about
saying,
diseases?
saying how semen goes into a female to get her pregnant.
And
That is how much
honestly-
they
See, it
talk
has
about
to do with procreation.
That is
Again,
it.
that's all they.
It
they
is
talk about.
abstinence.
Not about pleasure.
It is abstinence based. It is.
I don't
do
even
not have
think they
sex.
say the word pleasure.
Yeah, there's no female
no fun
pleasure.
in this,
Yeah,
Which is
This
funny
is not
because
fun.
it's like when I think of like taking dare classes when like it would just
my
make you
God.
want to. It'd be
Yeah.
like, and then this drug does this. You're like,
Yeah.
oh
You're like,
shit,
that
can I
sounds
try that?
great. Okay, here's another fun
They
story.
don't do that with sex.
The night I lost my virginity was in December, so there was a Christmas tree in the living room. It was the night before Christmas.
These are all like set. They're like short stories.
It turned into a disaster very fast. I really liked this guy, and he was staying with his brother for the weekend on his pull-out couch, no pun intended. So we ended up hooking up there. Most of our friend group knew I was still a virgin. Well, his brother walked in halfway through the middle of us hooking up and patted me on the head and said it was damn time. We thought everyone was asleep. So then afterwards, I'm so embarrassed and just wanted to get dressed, and I'm standing there naked in the living room of his brother's house and couldn't find my thong anywhere. Turns out it was hanging on the Christmas tree.
That is fucking hilarious.
The fact that someone interrupted your first time is like the worst case scenario.
I could literally name at least 10 friends that would do that.
Oh man, no one interrupted. We were in a parking lot in the bed of a fucking pickup truck. Anyone could have walked by.
So that leads to most people's first times are probably not idyllic
No.
romantic settings. They're probably alcohol involved.
I've had
or
a time
drugs
that it was
involved
like
and-
even like a New Year's where I was just like making out with a guy, and it was like a friend of the people I was with, and I was visiting them all in Newport, and there was like a pool house that we were in, and literally not like on the bed or anything. Literally, all of them were like peering through the window, and they'd be like, "Yeah, get it."
And I mean, like, that's part of it, right? And it goes back to the whole thing of, like, I've said this a million times. Jared would talk about how he had sex with so many women on tour and DJing because he always had sex for other men.
Because
it was
other people
always
thought-
to
yeah.
have sex to go back to other men and talk about how much
talk
sex
about-
he had. It was never about him learning how to, like, pleasure himself or pleasure a woman. It was always like, fuck and go tell people about it.
Well, that leads to
get
the
the
peer
validation
pressure.
of
yeah. And it, masculinity and
toxic masculinity.
Power.
Well, yeah, I did want to very lightly, because I know this podcast is predominantly listened to people, women, but the idea of male presenting or whatever virgins, how much more, I think you could say, worse they get it, the pressure to lose it and quickly. Like, I can't even imagine how much quicker guys, how much of a problem that is. And then you have to worry about this. The thing about erections is so fucked up, because it's like this thing that you see. And if it's not working, it's this big physical thing. And if it's not doing what it's supposed to do, it's broken or it's not working. Versus like vaginas, you can lie. No. Oh, I'm on my second season.
It's really, I feel like that show is very good.
Which one?
Sex Education on Netflix. Everyone should watch it.
But it's very realistic.
Yeah.
But also for guys, I think it's weirder as you get older to find out a guy's a virgin, because it seems like they would have had to turn
down so much pussy.
Not even like that, because I feel like girls would be turning down more.
Yeah.
But like, it seems like they would have situations.
I see it as being a fucking gentleman.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, you are a gentleman.
But what's the definition of a male virgin,
someone that hasn't stuck.
It's never,
according to society.
That's what I was going to ask
you. It's much more one-sided for a guy. It feels like.
It's like if you haven't. I know most of my guy friends have never put a stick in a pussy because they're all gay.
That's why I asked.
Yeah. Okay, let's do another couple stories. These are really quick and funny. Lost it the night before my grandma's funeral and went to the funeral with a hickey.
I hickey. Who does hickeys?
How about this one?
No one on purpose.
No
but
one,
if you got one on
hickeys
accident,
are
you're like,
hot.
oh,
doesn't
now.
it piss you off if someone does that to you?
No, I think it's hot.
Oh,
No, you think a hickey's hot?
As
I
long
guess
as
it
I
would
don't have
depend
to be
on who
on
it
camera.
was.
Oh.
It was way before I was on camera. It was like, I feel like I was home for winter break or
It's
something.
kind of
hooked up
like
with
a
someone.
taboo, like little, like, ooh, I'm gonna mark you, and you're like, don't mark me.
I didn't notice. I was wasted. Then I
Oh,
like wake up and
no.
go to the mall the next day. I'm with a friend and I'm trying stuff on. And I look in the dressing room. I'm like, what? Oh my
Oh.
god! And just went through it. I'm like,
And then you
what?
text them, and you're like, bitch, and then you
And
send
then
them a
they're like,
picture.
hey, hey,
It
and
was
then,
always
sorry.
in my generation associated with being a loose woman. Just to have
my
that. It's
God.
like the trailer trash.
Wait, quick little tangent. That when how old were we? Me and my sister and one of my friends got in trouble because
Did you give each other hickeys?
not like it was literally like I think my sister told us what, because she was older, like told us what it was, and then we gave ourselves hickeys, I think,
on like
on
your
our
arms and
hands,
stuff.
and like someone had to be like, what's on your hand? And then just the fact that we knew what we probably were like 9 or something.
That's not weird to me though, because that's that age where you're discovering and figuring out how to do
but
shit.
now thinking back, we were definitely like, we got in trouble. Like, it was not okay.
Do you know how many of our neighbors in Asbury girls that I diddled and daddled with way before I
That's
ever
natural exploration of
so
sexuality.
many
I think.
of my neighbors.
And like, I don't think that I could, like, unless they were doing it secretly and still have not told me, like, I don't think any of my friends were ever doing anything like
Really?
No.
the friends that I had from like elementary through middle school, no.
That's exploring the
Like in high school, yeah, but even not
we
a
were,
lot
like,
of gay people though.
kids.
In
I'm
my,
talking like
we
you
were
know,
like 8.
grade school.
Yeah. we
When
were fucking
used to-
young.
that's I feel like we
Yeah.
were just like not alone.
I remember holding my brother down. Did I ever tell you that story?
Okay, Lena Dunham.
Oh God! Well, you were one of 9 we talked about, and you
my
guys,
God,
you guys like tortured your siblings.
My poor brother. But we
You
were all
wanted
we
to-
were all a year and a half apart, so that means we were all at that age, together and
my God,
exploring.
your
and
poor mom's
my
vagina.
sister. Oh yeah, my sister and I held my brother down because we got a bobby pin and stuck it in the hole of his penis because we wanted to see where it went.
Oh, that is 1,000% assault. Mom.
This is like when we
I'm
were.
like, is he okay?
Oh no! Which one was
He's
it?
not married.
Which
So no,
one?
you scarred him forever.
Which one is it?
I'm not gonna say it.
Oh my God! I could guess which one
You
it is.
know,
The
yeah.
fucked up one.
No.
He needs therapy.
Oh no, but see,
that's
that
when
was
you're
just
that
innocence. That was
age.
innocence.
Yeah, when you're that
I was
age and you
probably-
don't know the idea of.
We were probably 7, 8, and 9 because we're all like a year apart. Oh,
That's the thing
it was
about being that
I mean,
young.
that's just children Like, say,
No.
where does this hole go?
Yeah.
I don't know though. I just feel like
What happens if
weren't-
you stick this in here?
Yeah, no, I
We weren't
100%. My
like,
whole
curious.
neighborhood
That
was
was the
very
60s,
curious.
the 50s, and 60s.
100% can think of all of my friends. Everyone was exploring, playing doctor.
How about with Barbie and Ken? Did you ever like Barbie
Yeah,
and
I
Ken?
think
Like,
so.
They would have sex.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
don't- but that's the thing is you don't know what that is again because we don't teach pleasure and boundaries to children. I think if I were to ever have kids, the first thing I would fucking teach them as children is about pleasure and like.
At 3 years old, you're like, okay, well, you're a little young for
Not
this.
saying that it's like your sacred space and your sacred flower. Like I'm not going to put emphasis on a part being not pleasurable.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Walking in on your parents or hearing them. I mean, didn't you live in a house where you could hear through the walls or
Yeah, but
I
they
never
accidentally
was.
walk in?
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
they
did
weren't
you-
having sex.
When you were did your parents have sex?
Drag them.
Probably not.
I never walked in on you guys. I once walked in on you guys hugging naked. You guys were standing up.
That's what we told you we were doing.
No,
just
I
hugging.
remember it. I remember it
You
very.
still believe it?
I remember it very
We're
vividly.
just hugging.
You guys, like, I thought you were crying. Because Dad was like
I was
hugging
going,
you.
oh no,
I don't remember being scarred by it at all. But I will say it was definitely
can't believe-
shameful of sex and that shit because I was fucking forced into Baptist church.
I did have a friend that I remember after this was like we were old enough that we did know what it was. We knew what happens. That she was like someone had walked in or heard their parents. And we were talking about it. And she was like, "Oh my god, it scarred me for life. It was so horrible." And then the other friend casually goes, "Oh yeah, I think my parents have only had sex like once." And we were all kind of like, "Well, I mean, at least twice."
Oh, because there's two kids.
Because there's a sibling.
kids.
And she's like, no. And we were all kind of like, who's going to
How old
tell
she?
her?
How old was she?
We were like old enough that it
enough
was
to
a
know.
problem.
That's where the parents come in, y'all.
When I was little, I
parents-
remember I thought that sex was literally just like people naked sleeping together.
I did too. I thought it was just, and you tried to give me a book. You gave me a book about it. And I was like, are you fucking kidding?
I
It was a
did?
Christian book. It was like when God wants a man and a wife.
To
It was
together.
emphasis
Together.
on wife.
And to lay
Emphasis
together,
on
so that's
hetero.
why you probably think that it's just
That's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to write a sex book for children that takes out the heteronormativity of this whole entire situation.
Do you think one exists already?
Probably. I'll look it up. If it is, it'll be linked below. If it's not, I'm going to make it.
Make it.
Rounding this out, you guys have been so fun and fantastic. Mom, if you could give advice, I would like to ask you a different question from Lily. Mom, if you could give advice to all our confidants out there for people who want to be able to talk more openly with their mom about sex, what would you say as a professional sex mom?
I don't know about that, but first of all,
What a
started
title.
early. In your relationship with your parents as early as it's appropriate for you, and also maybe it wouldn't hurt to get a couple of drinks in your mom first, and then start talking about it.
100%. 100%.
You know, and I'm just saying.
That's great. Lil, I want to ask you, what would you say to people, confidants? I mean, our audience is a little bit older, but like for people that maybe need advice on doing it for the first time, like what would you give them? Be careful with your foot up there.
Oh.
What advice would you say?
that kind of to round out everything we've been saying is to do it because you want to.
Preach.
Not because someone wants you to, or you think that you can go get some even if it's going to give you personal validation afterwards to be able to tell someone you did it.
That's not.
Is that
You're doing
personal
it for someone
validation going to
else,
last over like then the shame you feel because you didn't really want to do it and now you
And if
regret
it does, do it.
And also if you do it and it happens, like don't regret it because like it's
Yeah.
not the end of the world.
Yeah, I think the biggest advice I can give is
You're
about
not losing anything. You're
exactly nothing's being taken from you, and that's exactly what I want to say. Is my biggest advice is all about control. Like you are in control. You have the power. Whatever you got to do, mantras in the mirror before just. While you're masturbating, protecting yourself, doing it in your own time, but knowing that you have fucking control. You have fucking control. That's true. You have fucking control of fucking control. And to know that also sex does not equal orgasm. Sex can be super fun without anyone coming. I mean, most of the time it is still super fun without anyone coming. It's not an end goal. It's an experience. It's something to be shared with another person. That's what it's all about. And however you do it safely.
Safe sex. I was about to add that at the very end.
I can't lie. I never fucking used condoms, so I can't even pretend. I got chlamydia the second time I had sex.
But you should.
Oh my God. Should we?
Yeah, but I got it out of the way, so,
we be done?
so whatever.
That sounds like another topic.
Just make sure the person you're sleeping with is honest. So, I don't know, show them your results or some shit. Condoms suck. I'm not going to
took
lie.
a turn.
This got way the wrong way. Okay, Confidant, thank you so much. That was this week's. Don't forget to subscribe to Lily. Lily, where can people find you if you want to be found?
The Lil's channel on YouTube with a Z because
You're cool like that.
Almost 30 in that.
And check out Megan's
series.
I'll
Yeah,
put
that's
that too.
on her channel, Megan Rinks, the one
And
that hasn't been hacked.
Mom, where do people find you if you want to be found?
I don't want to be found.
Okay, Confidant, thanks so much. We'll see you next week. Bye.
I saw the signs and I ignored it. Rose-colored glasses all distorted. Set fire to my purpose, and I let it burn. You cut off and the curtain, but it wasn't yours. Yeah, we'd always go into it blindly. I needed to lose you to find me. Listening to us killing me softly. I needed to hate you to love me. I needed to lose 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 you to love me. You promised the world and I fell for it. I put you first and you adored it. Set fires to my forest and you let it burn. Sang off key in my chorus.